those epic rivalries that define an era? Ali versus Frazier, Ford versus Ferrari, and, of course, the most iconic tech versus music showdown of all time, Apple versus Apple. Today, we are unpacking a legal saga that lasted nearly 3 decades and involved two of the most powerful brands on the planet. This wasn't a battle over a patent or a copyright, but a clash of trademarks, where the very word Apple became a battlefield. So, let's get into the incredible story of how the Beatles record label took on Steve Jobs' tech giant, again and again and again. Welcome back to Entertainment and IPR Uncovered, the show that dissects the legal drama behind the silver screen. A collision of two worlds. The story begins in the late 1960s when the Beatles, at the height of their fame, founded Apple Corps, a multimedia holding company that included their famous record label, Apple Records. Their logo? A crisp, green Granny Smith apple. A few years later, in a California garage, a new tech company was born, led by a young visionary named Steve Jobs. Its name? Apple Computer. Its logo? A multicolored apple with a bite taken out of it. For a while, there was peace. One Apple was in the business of music, and the other was in the business of computers. But as technology advanced, those two worlds started to collide. The legal battle began in 1978 when Apple Corps filed a lawsuit against Apple Computer, claiming trademark infringement. The core of their argument was simple: they had used the name first, and a fledgling computer company using the same name and a similar logo would inevitably cause confusion. IPR Insights, Trademark Tussles. This is the ultimate trademark case study. A trademark's purpose is to protect a brand name, logo, or slogan that identifies and distinguishes the goods and services of one party from those of another. While both companies used the name Apple, they operated in what were, at the time, distinct commercial spheres. The legal challenge for Apple Corps was to prove that a computer company using Apple was a violation of their trademark in the music industry. The two Apples initially tried to solve this with a coexistence agreement. In 1981, they reached a settlement where Apple Computer paid a one-time fee to Apple Corps and agreed not to enter the music business. The deal was a truce, not a permanent solution. But then, Apple Computer started adding music-related features to its products. In the late 80s, they introduced computers with MIDI and audio capabilities, which led to a second lawsuit. A second settlement was reached in 1991, with Apple Computer paying millions and agreeing not to distribute physical music products. The peace was again shattered in 2003 with the launch of the iTunes Music Store. This was a clear violation of the spirit of their agreements, even if the letter of the law was arguable. Apple Corp sued for a third time, claiming that the tech company's entry into the digital music business was a blatant breach of their settlement agreements. The outcome? The final accord. This final legal showdown went all the way to the UK High Court. In a surprising twist, the court ruled in favor of Apple Incorporated, stating that the iTunes service, with its associated logo, did not create a likelihood of confusion for consumers. The judge reasoned that the logo was used to identify the service, not the music itself, and a music fan wouldn't believe that the Beatles company was responsible for selling MP3. Despite winning the legal battle, Steve Jobs knew the fight was far from over and that he wanted to be free to use his company's name in any way he pleased. So, in 2007, the two Apples finally reached a comprehensive and final settlement. The terms were confidential, but it was widely reported that Apple Incorporated paid a very large sum to buy all Apple trademarks from Apple Corps. In return, the tech company licensed certain trademarks back to the music company for its continued use. This final agreement allowed Apple Incorporated to finally sell the Beatles' music on iTunes in 2010, marking a peaceful end to a 30-year rivalry. Closing note. A lesson in evolution. The Apple versus Apple Corps saga is a fascinating example of how intellectual property law must constantly adapt to technological change. What seemed like a sensible agreement in 1981 became obsolete with the invention of digital music. The case shows that sometimes, even with a strong legal argument, the best business decision is to settle for good. It's a reminder that a brand's value isn't just about its origin, it's about its future. What do you think? Did Apple Incorporated do the right thing by paying a huge sum to finally put the dispute to rest? Let us know in the comments below. If If you want more fascinating tales from the world of intellectual property, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. We'll see you next time on Entertainment and IB Uncovered.